My name is Michael McGoogan, and I'm the founder and CEO of UberGlobal. Coming from a large family, I am totally anomalous. Neither of my parents are in IT or business. Every time we got a new TV or a VCR back in those days, I was the one to cable it and do all of the programming and so on and so forth. One of the very, very first people to ask me to help them get their website online was the mum of one of the friends in my geek group in high school. And she essentially said, "Hey Mike, can you help me get my stamp collecting website online?" UberGlobal's first office was in the bedroom of my parents' house. I had my bed and my desk. In the early days, even when we only had a few clients, I knew that it was going to be critically important to provide 24/7 customer service. I'm currently attending high school. I'm doing 20 hours a week at Alibaba and rolling out of bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, bleary-eyed. I got extremely good at delivering, "Good morning, McGoo HQ Internet Communications. How can I help you?" So I had this arrangement with all of my teachers attending public high school that if my phone rang, that I could silently excuse myself from the room to take that customer support phone call. So the three Fs were both our first customers, my first investors, friends, family and fools that were silly enough to back the business either by trusting us to run their website or to actually invest life savings money in our family. Way back in 2005, we had just moved down to the local shopping centre. Literally, we were next door to the newsagent and the bakery. The first UberGlobal office, but we were still the little engine that could, if you like. Out of the blue, I had this phone call from Gary Meadows, who ran a business called Aussie Hosts. And he said, "Well, what can you offer me?" I said, "Oh, totally lying. I think I could scrape together probably 150. And he said, 150,000. Okay, well, get on a plane, come down and see me. End of the phone call. So at that point, hanging up the phone, my heart's racing. Where am I going to get $150,000 from?
Well, Michael first started to show signs of his brilliance, I suppose, where he'd pull apart a computer rather than play with it like other kids. He'd pull the guts out of it and put it back together again. And he started off in his bedroom doing all sorts of little things, and we weren't allowed to walk up the hallway after we heard the phone ring. He'd put on his toffee voice at a ripe old age of 12 or 13. He'd be answering people's questions on how to fix their computers. He always constantly amazed me that he could do that. He's always got this grandiose goal he sets himself. And he's just gone from strength to strength. I don't really understand, and I doubt if many people would, what goes on in his mind. But I'm certainly very proud.
One of my customers had a full-time job at a very, very small government organisation called the Murray-Darling Basin Commission. And he said, "Mike, you do such a great job looking after my personal website. I'd like to give you the mdbc.gov.au website to run." And that was a really, really big deal. I didn't even know myself that you had to be 18 to hold directorship. I went and approached Michael Mossop.
I first met Michael when he was a baby in his pram when he was three weeks old. Our families grew up together. I had some young kids. Bob and Margaret had their boys, and so they grew up together. So he asked me to form the company and be the company's first director, which I did. And so the company was incorporated in 2004. Had the name McGoo HQ at that point. I mean, he was only 16 or so, 17 at the time. He had a lot of drive and ambition. He had sensible plans in his head. I could see that this was a pretty good investment.
I've been the youngest guy in just about every room I've ever walked into. And so what I don't have in terms of experience and qualifications, I've made up for through a pathological pursuit of logic. Lead by example is the #1 rule in business. If I come into the office every single day, charged and full of energy, and I look into your eyes and say, what are we going to do to build a more successful company today? That starts to become contagious. From the start of the business, it has been a pretty long journey. It's been 20-hour days for many years since we started the company, and look, I've always said that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, and I truly believe that.